Yes, Mr. Emeka, welcome.
Thank
Welcome
you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. We
Yep.
are very, very honored when we start getting TV personalities, because now those are the guys we want to compete with.
Radio personality.
Radio personality, rather.
Yeah.
Media. We consider you guys legacy media. Because that's also the revolution and you guys come.
Actually, you guys are doing a great job.
Oh, thanks.
I'm so proud of that.
Thanks. So you, man, you're is it called Adara or is it just Adara? Should I pronounce it the Uganda way?
It's Adara.
Adara, yeah.
Yeah.
How did you manage to sneak that thing? Did Trevor Noah not compete in this one?
No, actually, well, you see, first of all, when you work so hard, there's always that saying that Pablo always tells me. He always tells me that just keep on working. Someone out there is watching, and you never know who is watching.
True.
Again. So I must say 2018 was my breakthrough year. Yeah, I started comedy when I was in my Form 6 VAC. That was 2013. Yeah. So it took me 2013, 14, 15, 16. It took me like those years to get to 2018 and really like break through. Yeah, so 2018 was really to me, it was the beginning of great things to me. Yeah. So I remember that year, I was nursing a terrible heartbreak.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's usually where the comedy comes from.
So I said, man, I'm going to focus on my career. Let me focus on being great. So immediately in Jan 2018, I went to Kenya. I got called to the Churchill show. So I went and performed at the Churchill show, and I had a great show. So I spent a week in Kenya. So after Kenya, I came back to UG, spent 5 days, and I got a call to Rwanda, because Rwanda is like my second home. I've performed there since 2015. I see. So they called me for the Kigali International Comedy Festival. I went and nailed it. So when I came back to Uganda from Rwanda, as I was trying to figure things out, and a month later, because I was in touch with Zambians, and they called me. They're like, hey, I think we are ready to host you. Still in 2018, I think that was around Easter time. So I flew out to Zambia on Easter Sunday in 2018. I went there. We had two shows, one in Livingstone town, the other one in Lusaka town. So I came to Lusaka, then we traveled to Livingstone. We go to Livingstone, and when I was backstage, I would hear guys talking. I had guys saying that every time we hear that there is a Ugandan comedian coming in Zambia, we expect the best. Because Asiimwe has been there, she nailed it. Pablo has been there, he nailed it. Champamide has been there, they've all nailed it. So they're like, let's wait and see what this one has to bring. So once I had those positive remarks, I was like, okay, it's either do or die for me. And to my surprise, I was the one headlining that show.
Oh, nice.
I was the one headlining that show, and there were over 5,000 people who were attending that show. So I get there, and the other guys perform. Their biggest comedians perform. And after performing, it's me, a small Emeka from Uganda, and nobody.
Yeah.
So I prayed, as like, okay, God, if this is mine, let it so it be. I said, I'm representing Uganda. If I die, Uganda is dead. If I nail it, it's Uganda that I'm putting on the map. So I went, and I was so scared. But what really gave me hope is that the first two lines I cracked, I got a standing ovation. Before even finishing the first joke, I was like, okay, now I have these ones. I told them, guys, sit down, we've not yet started. So like the first three jokes, guys were laughing and giving me standing ovations. I was like, you know what, let's just continue. So yeah, after the show, they came and told me, hey, we knew Champamire here, we know Asiimwe, we know Pablo, now we know you. You've really done a great job. So we went to Lusaka. Actually, before we went to Lusaka, the following morning after the show in Livingstone, we are having breakfast at the hotel and getting ready to swim. So I get a notification, and it's an email. So I read the email, and it said, congratulations, Mr. Emeka, you've been nominated for the Adara Awards 2018 for African Comedian of the Year. And on opening the document, I see the category I'm in. I see the people I'm with. I was so shocked. I'm like, no, this is too good to be true. It was me. It was Salvador. It was Basket Mouth. And another guy called Gabriel Ozuko. He's related to Patience Ozuko. He's I think he's a nephew to Patience Ozuko. We were in the same category. I was like, no way, this can't be true. I first went to my hotel room, I showered, I washed my face. I was like, no, this is not me. On checking my WhatsApp, the guy had sent me a WhatsApp message. He's like, man, congratulations. When you're back from Zambia, just get ready. You're flying to South Africa straight. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. So I show it to the Zambians. When I show it to my Zambian colleagues, they were so happy. They were really so happy. So one of them said, we didn't know that we were hosting a big guy in our country. So they went and publicized it on their TVs, on ZNBC, on most of their TVs. So I did like a media tour before the show in Lusaka. So went to Lusaka. It was my last show. I had a great show, a very great show, and after that show, they booked me for November for the Z International Comedy Festival. It was having a lot of comedians from Africa and internationally. So I come back to Uganda and I share the news, and my media people started moving it around, and as it was like the highlight of my career.
I see. So this is the thing that I'm a big fan of comedy. Mostly stand-up comedy. But again, because of what I'm exposed to, I mostly pay attention to, say, the American scope. Like I know Trevor Noah is South African, but because he's American now, I get to pay attention to his work. I do spend some time also listening to, like, the Ugandan comedy as well, but not so much outside Uganda that is not American, right? So like I'm wondering, how do you manage to like capture the audience, say, in Zambia? Do people in Zambia and South Africa?
How do I manage? First of all, when I was beginning comedy, my mentors told me that when you are writing a joke, do not write a joke that is going to stop in Uganda. Write a joke that is going to cross borders. I see. Write a joke that a person in Uganda is going to watch, a person in Kenya is going to watch, a person in Zambia is going to watch, a person in South Africa is going to watch, and they enjoy. That is why every time I'm writing jokes, I write jokes that cross way beyond. Like that joke of mine that has been trending of the Indian soccer commentators and Nigerians. I always look in that direction. I see. You understand?
So okay. So that's a good thing. So that thing also with this creative process. So if you're an athlete, right? If your work is to run, it is clear when Usain Bolt has won, right? He crosses that line before everyone else, and everyone knows, this guy has won, right? If you're Lionel Messi, you dodge people around, and it is clear that this guy knows how to play football, right? But comedy also, there is that what's the word? There is a subjective element to it, right? I listen to Dave Chappelle, for example, right? And I like most of his work, but my girlfriend can't stand him, right? It's like, what the fuck is this guy saying? But my girlfriend will listen to you and will like a lot of your work. Okay, your work is good. I want to give like, so the people who make jokes, say, on TikTok or what, she could send me like a joke. Would be like, check this out. And I look at them like, what the fuck? But like, again, because it's comedy, that this guy knows their audience and they're trying to target. So in your process, how do you anticipate that, for example, if you're going to perform among 500 random people, that these kinds of jokes will work for a majority of them? I don't think they have to like work for everyone, but the majority trace the whole.
Before I perform anywhere, I look through my jokes and I'm like, okay. And you need to know your audience as a comedian. You need to study your audience. If you are going to do a show in Mbarara, you must crack jokes that are relating with Westerners. If you are to do a show, let's say in Gulu, you need to write material that is relating to people in Gulu. If you are going to, let's say, do a show that is here in Kampala, you can do quite a variety. Do jokes that are relating to Uganda, do jokes that are relating to everyone around, you get, but you must know your audience. Like there's a time when we were still starting out, I think I was in my first year. So, you're hustling, you're looking for money. So someone calls you to a bar to perform for drunkards. That was the worst experience in my life. I come and I get my jokes. I'm cracking my Nigerian jokes. These drunkards want you to be vulgar. Once you say something vulgar, they will die. I, for one, when I was joining the industry, I was like, I don't want to be vulgar. I don't want to be that vulgar type. So we get on stage and start performing for the drunkards. One stood up and shouted, "Mwagweva yo, tonyumisa, toina chotugamba, bichi, tolina fane." So I picked from him, and he was heckling at me. So I heckled back at him. What helped me, the line I gave him really worked, and people laughed. He got pissed. He got a bottle and threw it at me, and I dodged it. I dodged it, moved out.
And that was part of your performance.
And that was part of my performance. Once the heckling line I hit back at him worked, I was like, cool, I'm not coming back to this place. You get? So you must know your audience. There are those people you will perform for, and man, they actually do not relate to the jokes you're performing. You get? It actually even depends on the style. I'll give you an example of Daniel O'Mara. Daniel O'Mara is slapstick. He does slapsticks. You get? Line per line, line per line. You're not going to get Daniel O'Mara and give him a really, really conk Uganda audience that really understands and listens to mostly Uganda. You get? He has a certain type of audience. You get? He has a certain type of intellect he commands. You get?
Oh, I see. So that actually also brings the thing to the picture. There's also a category of comedians. I forget the name, but I used to watch some of the Comedy Factory stuff. There's a bunch of comedians whose sort of the only thing that makes their stuff humorous is obscenity, right?
Obscenity.
So again, there is no like intellect behind, and they have their own kind of audience. And I'm wondering, is there like room for diversity where you say maybe if you go to the bar, like that was not a good experience you went to, but if you go to another bar, do you say like in this bar, let me go and be like very misogynistic or very vulgar, or play to the crowd, and when I'm doing like a corporate event, a corporate stand-up event, let me just make like corporate jokes? Or is it, do you define yourself as a brand to be this kind of person?
Well, like I said, I don't do dirty jokes, but it depends on how you package them. You get? There are comedians that I know, actually even Christian comedians, that have done the funniest dirty jokes. But the way they package them, you really can't understand. So it's after the show, and after he has performed, you're like, wait a minute, he said this, and it meant this, and you start laughing. You get? So it depends on how you package your material. You can perform in a bar that has these downtown people, and they just want you to be obscene and hammer words like they are, you get? But there are those corporate bars you go to, and you're dirty, but in a clever way.
I see.
You get? You go to places like Big Mike's. Like the people there, they will really understand.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, the other thing now, right? If you look at, say, the American stand-up comedy scene, right? Most of the comedians have now started taking up a bigger role as sort of the commentators on society, right? So I think right now there's also like sort of, I'm paraphrasing on this, but there's a thing that you hear a lot in America, that you don't trust the news, but if you want to know what's going on, listen to the comedians, right? And in Uganda, I still don't feel like people are there yet. I feel like it's okay to make some, the jokes are funny, and some of them are relatable. If you make a joke about, say, relationships, that's relatable, but that does not, it usually doesn't move society at the scope, of the attention that you have, for example, right? If you have, say, 1,000 people listening to your joke, no, 1,000 is small. If you put on Twitter, for example, and you have like 20,000, at least looking at your skit, or TikTok, a significant number of Ugandans looking at your skit, and your joke is not the kind of joke that is intended to comment on society. For example, he intended to suggest, a better way we can think of society, a better we can relate. I'm wondering, if there is room for, say, Ugandans as well to try and emulate the stand-up comedians in.
What you're talking about, I think maybe you've not watched a lot of Ugandan comedians that relate to society, but they are there.
I've seen what's the name of these guys in Further Things?
Fun Factory?
No.
Bizonto.
Bizonto, yes. Yeah. I've seen the Bizonto. They're fruitful.
Bizonto. Yeah. And I'll give you another comedy outfit that does it way better. Fun Factory.
Okay.
You've heard of Fun Factory?
Yeah, I've seen. Fun Factory, those are the guys who have the show on what?
At National Theatre. Yeah. Addington Bujingo, Ankansime, Dixon Zizinga, Isaac Kudu, all those guys. Now, if you want to get humor that is relating to society, you must watch those guys.
I see. Okay.
Because when I was starting, when those guys gave me like a really good platform, and it's through there, I watch their skits and learn a lot. The way they relate to events happening in society and the way they bring out the humor in them really gives you that impression that, Uganda is there. You understand? I'll give you an example. There's like every big thing that is happening in Uganda, be it positive or negative, they'll have to act a skit out of it. When Kawesi was killed, the mood was somber. You get?
Yeah.
We were sad.
Yeah, true.
I watched that. I went to that show, like everyone was really sad. And we expected them to make a skit out of it. Me, I for one, I knew that, these guys are going to nail it. The angle they gave it, the audience laughed for 15 minutes non-stop. We laughed for 15 minutes non-stop. Every time a big figure in the country dies, there's a skit they act. They bring God in the picture, in heaven.
I see.
You get? So they bring all the celebrities that have died, and this person is entering. Like the way they package it, the audience always laughs for like 15 to 20 minutes. You get? So that shows you that Uganda is there. You understand? Uganda is there. Only that, I must say that there is a section of Ugandans that has not yet appreciated comedians in Uganda and comedy in Uganda. But Ugandans are doing a great job. We are doing a great job. Because in Africa, Uganda is number 3, number 2.
Yeah.
When it comes to comedy, there is South Africa, there is Nigeria, and there is Uganda. You get? Because Uganda has had like some of the biggest comedy exports in Africa. Apart from South Africa and Nigeria. Here comes Uganda.
I see. Yeah, so categorizing what we consider comedy, right? So you mentioned skits. And for me, in my opinion, skit comedy, sketch or skit, for me differs a little bit from like stand-up, right?
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to give an example of Dave Chappelle because sort of like the comedian I follow a significant amount. Dave Chappelle, I think earlier on in his career, he started with the Chappelle Show, where he does like
sketch.
Yeah, sketch where, he makes jokes about crack, where he makes jokes about racism and things like that. But then, over time now he's more the stage guy, Yeah, he sets up his punchlines, he comes with a story, and, he has a monologue for like, an hour and a half talking about this stuff, right? And, like, I want to, like, from you as the guy who's in this industry, where are we strong at, because I know, like, I've seen obviously people who do very strong stand-up. I've seen like the sketch you're mentioning, sketches, and now right now because of again the social media platforms, sketch is sort of becoming way more popular because it's easier for people to move. Where do you think we are extremely strong at?
We are strong, I think, at both.
Okay.
Sketch comedy, we have Ankansime.
Yeah, true. I remember when she was celebrating 10,000 Twitter a while back. Yeah,
you get. Anne has met the Queen of England.
Oh shit, yeah.
She has had dinner with the Queen of England.
Okay.
Because of her sketch comedy. Her sketch comedy relates a lot to society. When it comes to stand-up, we have Salvador.
Yeah, true.
You get?
True, yeah.
He's put Uganda way up there. I'm speaking of the legends in the game. We have Daniel O'Mara. We have quite a number of guys that have really represented Uganda on the international scene. We have We have Joseph Opio, who is on the Daily Show. Joseph Opio, when he was starting,
I think is he a writer? He doesn't perform, right?
He's a performer. He's a stand-up comedian and a writer. He writes for Trevor Noah.
Yeah, okay.
You understand?
Yeah,
he writes for Trevor Noah and writes for the Daily Show. When Opio was doing stand-up comedy in Uganda, trust me, Ugandans didn't relate with him.
Yeah, no, I would get that. Yeah,
You get?
yeah.
Ugandans, they told him, man, nigga, you're not funny. He had a show he was doing on Urban TV. I would watch that show, and trust me, I found it so funny. People at home would ask me, what are you laughing at? And I'm like, yo, this guy is really funny. When I heard that he went to, like, he took himself to South Africa to watch World Cup. He was part of the sports team on Urban TV. He went to South Africa and he got in touch with Trevor Noah. He met the producers of Trevor Noah and he told them, guys, this is my work. And he told them, I produce the show, I write the show, and present the show. They're like, no way. You can't be producing. You write and you present. They showed it to Trevor Noah, and Trevor Noah liked him so much. So Trevor Noah called him to the States to be a writer of the Daily Show. They started doing shows, like they would do shows, comedy shows all over America. And he would really, like, I watched his videos and he was so funny, like the Americans were laughing. You understand? So I must say that
you think we are strong everywhere?
Ugandans, we are strong everywhere. When it comes to sketch comedy, we have Fun Factory. Trust me. We have a lot of comedy outfits in Uganda that are doing sketch comedy, but trust me, to me, it's not the fact that, okay, they are my good friends, but you look at their work and you're like, yes, these are the people that can really represent Uganda on an international scene when it comes to sketch comedy, and they will nail it. There's a time they went to Algeria and boom, it was them they were talking about. You understand? Yeah. So we are stronger on both sides. Even myself, I do sketch comedy because right now stand-up comedy is closed. You get? The shows are closed. We are not performing anywhere. As a comedian, you need to diversify. You get? You need to diversify. There's no stand-up comedy. You're not performing on stage. How are you going to earn? Through sketch comedy.
I see. Yeah. So before like we go into the thing I want to talk to, I wanted to ask, is this guy on Twitter, Patrick Kanyomos, is he a comedian? Sorry, I read his jokes. I'm not sure. Is he a comedian? Like, I know he's married to
Lucky Babas.
Yeah.
I know Patrick is my friend. He's not a comedian.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, there's a difference between being funny on Twitter on the timeline, and being a comedian. Now, comedy is a job.
I see.
You will come out and say that I'm a comedy king on Twitter, like they call them. I'm a comedy king. I'm a comedian. And the person will ask you for your work. You are not going to bring out the Twitter jokes.
I see, yeah.
You will need to bring a video of you performing something. I see. You understand?
Yeah.
But he's a good writer. He can be a good writer. You get? He's funny on Twitter. Yeah. But for you to say that you're a comedian, you need to show your work.
I see. Yeah. And the reason I asked that, by the way, is not to put him on blast. I enjoy his tweets.
No. His tweets are actually good. Yeah. They're really so good. You get? Yeah.
The reason I asked is, I'm wondering, the nature of competitiveness within the industry. Yeah. I know they once had a feud with Salvador, and again, this was very political. I was already biased because I'm already on Patrick's side, so I didn't find Salvador's jokes funny. But no, and I'm saying this is because of the political bias, not because of the comedian himself, right? But my question here is, the nature of competition, right? If you look, say, for example, in the music industry, Bobby Wine, Bebe Cool, there's always something going on, this guy, blah, blah, blah. When you come in this industry, we're in the podcasting industry, we're at least more cooperative because we feel like, we can share the audience. So if one guy has a podcast, we usually invite them, they come to your podcast, they invite you to come to your podcast so we can share the audience. How is it in the comedy industry? The competition?
The competition is good. Alex Mohanji will invite Salvador for his show.
Okay.
Salvador will invite Mohanji for his show.
Okay.
Pablo will invite Mohanji on the Pablo live show. Mohanji will call Pablo for Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Salvador will be invited to Fun Factory to go and perform. He will get their comedians. When he has Africa Laughs, they will go.
Oh, I see.
You understand?
Okay.
So there's a big coordination in the Ugandan comedy industry. And what actually you guys do not know, we have a comedians association. It's called the Uganda Comedians Association. all the big names you know in comedy are there. So we sit down and we talk. If there's any issue that is burning in the industry, we address it as comedians. You understand? These things they used to say that there's a big division in the industry, blah blah blah. Trust me, we have an association that addresses all that.
I see.
You understand?
Yeah. So when it comes to there are things. For example, the thing that pisses off musicians is I went with my song to this producer, but then now I realize some other guy came up with a song. The hook is very similar to the shit I wrote, right?
He copied my work.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to comedy, what is that thing about? I know in the US a big thing, right, where people say, "Oh, that
so
guy
did my joke."
He stole my joke and performed it before me, something like that. Does that happen a lot here? And how do you mitigate?
It used to happen before we had the Uganda Comedians Association. Right now, if you do a joke and it's similar to someone's joke, you go to the association and tell the president, "Hey, so and so did my joke. You need to bring evidence that you are the one who is the original owner of the joke."
I see.
You address the president, they'll sit down with the committee and they'll tell the person that copied the joke, like, "Hey, you did so and so's joke. It's not the right thing to do. You find a way how to sort yourselves out." It used to happen. People would do each other's jokes. They would do each other's jokes. But when the association came, it reduced.
I see. So this association sort of like some quasi-legal framework, right?
It's registered, fully registered.
No, like in terms of mitigating, because this would be the work of the copyright law, for example, right? But sort of now we have this alternative that works. What are your opinions on having like a strong legal framework to address like creative stealing, stealing other people's creative work? Do you have any opinions on, like, say, for example, patenting or like copywriting and things like that in comedy specifically?
Well, my opinion is that we strongly need it, and if the copyright law in Uganda is put to action, trust me, it would work for us very well.
I see.
Because, man, a lot of people, even people who are not comedians, will get your work and
just share it around.
And there's no way you, a comedian, there's no way you are going to benefit from it. You get? So they are working on it. I don't want to spill secrets.
Okay. I see.
It's being worked on.
Okay. And so you don't want to spill secrets, but let's just try to get as near to the secrets as possible. When you say they're working on it, are you saying like the committee in comedy, or you're saying like artists in general are trying to lobby for like a copyright law, or like
artists in general, comedians?
I see.
Yeah, it's just being worked on. Just wait for things to come out.
Okay. Yeah. I hope they don't ruin my TikTok, because I don't want to start paying for people's skits. Okay, so the other thing is, Emeka, right? Usually as an artist, I know, during the Da Vinci time, there was the movement they called, before the Renaissance, there was the movement they called the Romantic movement, right? Where the general belief was being alive is an expression of self. Whatever you do is sort of like an expression of the inner self or the God in you, whatever. Yeah. You, Emeka, the artist, what are you trying to express? If you summarize, if you sort of aggregate, I'm an engineer, so I use word like aggregate, but if you try to compress, if you try to like generalize, like all your work, if you want to describe it as like within a few words, what would you say you're trying to communicate? What is Emeka trying to express through comedy?
Love.
I see.
Togetherness.
I see.
Unity.
I see. Oh, okay, those are quite broad. Yeah. So this is, you feel like most of your work, for you to be comfortable going out to share it, it has to have like these important themes.
Yes.
Yeah. And most of what makes good art, I'll tell you this from Shakespeare and all those, is conflict.
Conflict.
Yeah, so conflict is an important. Actually, I did a course in film, and when you're writing, when you give the mentor to like read through your script, they first ask you, where is the conflict, right? Because it's important, especially the kind of art you're doing, which is storytelling. It's important to, express conflict and maybe mitigate it, or let it rupture around. Yeah. Do you see that? Do you see this like featuring in some of the work you do?
Yeah. Let me give you an example of politics, the political jokes I have done. I cracked one time a political joke. I remember one time when Tibbs was being labeled Bosco.
Yeah, I remember that time very well. Yeah.
So I cracked a joke, and it had Bosco in it. I mentioned Bosco as literally meaning the big man. It almost landed me into trouble.
Oh, sure.
We were at, I'll not disclose the venue, but we were performing, and after performing, the askaris come and tell me of the area, like, hey, where is Emeka? I'm like, I'm here. They tell me there's a patrol that is waiting for you outside.
Oh, sure.
Like, patrol, yeah. Like, okay, what have I done? Like, you were cracking a joke, and you mentioned Bosco, so these guys were there. Police was there, so they just want you to go and talk. Being the Mukiga, I am. I was like, let me go and speak to them. Have no fear. Now, the other part of me was like, you are going to disappear. You will never come back. Because most times when we are cracking these political jokes, at times they are sensitive.
Yeah.
Because you'll hit on something and people will laugh, but man, you've pinched someone.
Yeah,
you understand?
True.
That's where the conflict is.
Yeah.
So after my performance on stage, let me go meet the police. But I have a friend, he's called Dixon Bondokelo. Dixon Bondokelo is like, who are those guys that are coming for you? What? He's like, go back and sit. Let me go and confront them. He went. He saw the patrol guy. He's like, who do you want? He's like, we want to speak to the comedian. Why do you want to talk to him? Like, no, they started blabbering. He backed at them. He's like, no, he's a comedian. He's performing. He's addressing issues in the society. So what has he done wrong? He has not abused anyone.
Yeah, true.
You get?
Yeah.
So he told them, go away. He's like, go away. I'm in charge of this show. Go away. And they went away. But I was so worried that on my way, maybe would come in. But no,
that didn't happen. So yeah, that also like comes to the point of, like the comedians who cross the line, right? Well, not cross the line. The comedians who are persecuted. I think that's the right word, right? For example, the Bizonto, were a while back, they were arrested. Yeah, they were arrested, and again, it was because of their art, right? So what does the association, or what does you Emeka as a comedian, what do you have any, like, what is your comment on that, basically? The politicians overstepping their roles and trying to basically control your freedom of other people's freedom of speech, your freedom of self-expression.
It's a two-way thing. We all have a right to freedom of expression. You get? A person is not going to wake up one day, start speaking on issues that you see are going on in the country. You come out and prosecute them. Yeah. It's not a right thing. But still, someone came and told us that, guys, this time we are in is really so sensitive. It's so sensitive. You wouldn't want to do something that is going to piss off anyone. But still, as comedians, we have a right to speak. I see. You understand? So coming out and arresting Bizonto because of what they said or what they did is not the right thing. It's not the right thing to do. You understand? Because when they were being prosecuted, they made comments that were promoting tribalism and sectarianism in the country. Yeah. Other things they were talking about are really so visible. You understand? They are really, really so visible. But still, like I said, we were told, the time is really so sensitive. It's really so sensitive. Sometimes you need to read between the lines and be like, man, for me to be safe, you back out a bit. But when you back out, there are people out there who are actually depending on you, like they have hope in you. Once you come out and address the issues that are affecting them, they feel like, someone really cares about us. You understand?
Exactly.
So that's what I can say.
I see. Yeah, because if you look at, for example, if you watch, most of the Bizonto's work is also not like direct confrontation. They don't come out to say.
They go through the corners. They do not talk to you direct.
Yeah. But that's the right way to put it. Yeah. But if you look at some of the classic works, for example, that were even taught in school, if you read, let's say, Animal Farm, and maybe Jojo Rail's other work, 1984, most of like the work is indirectly again critique of like society. This has become like the classics that we consider timeless work, because if you read Animal Farm today, you can you can definitely point out who the Napoleon is in Uganda and who the squirrel is. I always think it's Andrew Mwenda, by the way, the squirrel. But yeah, you know, like you can place these characters, right? And this guy was writing about, say, you know, Soviet Russia, or, you know, England, you know, like he's writing about different societies, but his work in that allegorical form can move through distance and through time. You know, aren't you worried that if you shy away in intense times, what you end up creating is work that is very timely, you know, like if I listen to say if you make a joke about say Spice Diana, I only have to, if I've lived after Spice Diana is no longer relevant, then that joke is not relevant to me, you know, it dies at that point, right? Don't you worry that, you know, eventually you have to worry about making work that is going to immortalize you? Yeah, exactly.
To me, if there's anything going around society, trust me, I'll make a video out of it, and I do not care. If you come for me or not, I have addressed the issue. You get, if I die, I die. You get, I am addressing the issue. As long as I have not abused you, I have not attacked you, I have not done anything to demean you, I have addressed the issue.
As long as you're within the legal framework.
As long as I'm within the legal framework.
True.
With the issues going on in Uganda right about now, the political situation, the economic situation, if I came out and did a video that is addressing such, and you came for me, you're giving me a name.
You get? That's true, by the way.
You're creating a big platform for me, and at the end of the day, it's you who will be looked at as the bad person. Okay? Because we as artists, the reason as to why people put trust in us is to address these issues, to bring the humor out of it. You get, no matter how much we are going through dark times in the country, man, people always want the lighter side of everything. You need to bring out the lighter side of everything. So I will not keep quiet. If there's a serious political issue going on in the country, through my work, I will come out, make a video out of it. If I am taken, I am taken. As long as I am addressing issues that are in my country, because I love my country. You get, I love my people. I see. So people have put trust in me. I see. So if you come for me, well and good.
I see. So, okay. Now this is going to be the last one, and then we'll go to some lighter stuff. Okay. You've had a recent controversy on Twitter, right? So this thing is going to come out, by the way, in like, I think more than 5 days from today. So it may not, but it will still be recent, right? And the thing that I think surprised, and Mark here is the guy who produces this thing. The thing that probably surprised him is the fact that you responded. You know, usually public figures get attacked, you know, big personalities, they get attacked, and
you don't respond.
They'll be like, fuck off, you know, like,
Well, they do respond. There are those that really respond.
Yeah, true.
I know. First of all, I am known on TL to be a non-violent person. I, for one, I'm not a person who can really handle violence. When a person comes out and attacks me, first of all, there's a way my heart skips. I'm like, okay, now what have I done? You understand? I hate responding. I really hate responding to people that are bringing me negative energy. So when I was attacked, I looked at it and I was like, I mean, it's the usual thing you get. But when it kept on getting intense, I see, they started doing it over and over again. I was like, maybe at one point of time, you need to put people in their places. You understand? You need to put people in their places. They need to know that if you have not attacked them, they should not come at you. You get? If I've not come at you directly, why come to me? You get?
I see. Yeah.
I have called out a group of people, and I have not called out your name. Why come and attack me? So that is the thing that was lingering through my mind. I was like, let me let it go. But there's something that was telling me, nga. You get? So I was like, maybe I need to first put some people in their places, and they know that I do not usually do this, but let me do it. You get? So I had to respond. And after responding, I got over 20 DMs. People were telling me, you're a brand and you're not supposed to be indulging in this. You understand? Exactly I realized that, okay, I shouldn't have responded, but the other part of me was like, okay, you showed them that when they cross a certain line, you also cross a line.
Yeah.
You get? So people need to know that, man, you're not supposed to cross certain lines. You're not supposed to cross certain lines. Because I'm a maker. I'm a maker. You attack me. I have not done anything to you. Why attack me? You get? So I need to level that ground.
Yeah, no, I agree. In the end, and for me, like the lesson again, the big lesson from this is most of the people we see like on TV, because we see them behind the screens, and usually I think what we relate to when we look at TVs are like performers, we tend to depersonalize them, to dehumanize them, to think of them as something different than human, right? But like the guy himself who's like living in that body and doing that job, for example, maybe performing for you, there are people, right?
There are people,
like,
they're human beings.
people, they have like real feelings, like all of us.
You understand?
Exactly,
Now, you know, there's something that TL has normalized. It has normalized disrespect in form of banter and jokes. A person will come and disrespect you, and they're like, I know it's just a joke, that was just banter. But you do not know what's going through a person's feelings. You do not know how a person is affected. You do not know how people next to him or her are feeling. You get? Now, when these attacks came out, I have family. You get? I have family. They're on Twitter. They all came at me and they're like, okay, these people are attacking you. What have you done? I showed them what really caused the spark. They're like, but you did nothing wrong. So why are they attacking you? You understand? Like, I would really see it. I would really see that, they've been affected in a way. So I must say that, man, you're on Twitter, do not disrespect a person in form of jokes and banter. There are people that have always come at me saying, you're not funny, your comedy is boring. Like, a lot of people say it many times. But honestly speaking, it doesn't move me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Again, that's what I was saying
because man, I have traveled the world. I have performed for people in many countries, and you come out and say I'm not funny. If I was not funny, I wouldn't be on the same nomination with Basket Mouth. You understand? Yeah. So, man, there are things that really do not move me.
No, that's exactly what I was saying about the difference between, like, say, this is talent.
Yeah.
But the difference between expressing your talent as an athlete, where, the clear winner, we know, for example, Espanyol's yesterday played, and we know who the winner was, right? Because the rules are clear. Versus, say, comedy, or even movies, or even music, where it's very subjective, When someone comes to say, you're not funny, maybe the best response be, you're not the audience, right?
And at times when people tell me that you're not funny, there's a way I want to respond. I always want to say that, your problems are way bigger than my talent. Like, if you come out and tell me, Emeka, you're not funny, trust me.
That's a good one.
To you who's watching, if you say Emeka is not funny, trust me, your problems are way bigger than my talent can accommodate. You understand?
Yeah.
Or you're not my target audience.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not. Yeah,
because there are people that really find me funny. So you, who gets a meal a day, you're surviving on Twitter gigs, you're attacking a person who is really making a living for himself. You understand? And I'm not saying this in bad faith.
Yeah, no,
people need to know that the public figures you're attacking, these are people that are working day and night to sustain themselves. You get? They have names to property. I have names to my own property. I have gotten through comedy, through radio, through things I do. So who just depends on Twitter gigs, man. You come out and attack me.
Yeah, I see.
I mean,
I
your problems are way bigger than my talent.
I totally agree.
Yeah, not in bad faith.
Yeah, no,
and people need to know. People need to know that you need to respect people's work. You get? You need to respect people.
Yeah.
You need to really respect people.
Put into producing the
I wake up at 4:30 a.m. 5 I'm on the road driving to work. I do a radio show from 6 to 10. I leave tired, come back home, write, shoot my YouTube videos. You get? On weekends, go get my suits put on, MC a wedding. You get? After that, I'm a brand ambassador of GoTV. I go do material for them. You get like all that. And you come out and attack me. I'm making the money.
And you have to do, like, putting in effort. It's not sitting home tweeting.
You get?
True.
And a person will come and attack you thinking that you're on the same level with them. No. You're not on the same level. Because people have been sending me messages. I've gotten like 3 people sending me messages and they're like, man, you're a topic of discussion in our board meeting. I'm like, what have I done? They're like, the work you're doing is good, so this client wants to use you. And these are big companies. You get. Yesterday, I got a message. This guy told me, the work you're doing for this brand is really good, but man, just keep on doing what you're doing because we've been discussing your name for over 20 minutes. Now, I never knew that such a big company, a multinational company,
is paying attention to
me. You understand?
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. Yeah, and I told you that would be the last of that kind. So yeah, how has COVID affected you? You're still driving. I see you managed to drive here. Maybe you're one of the connected guys. How has COVID affected you, and how has it affected the career itself? Like,
let me start with the first wave in 2020. Yeah, the first wave opened big doors for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's unexpected.
Yeah, in my career, I've been making money, but I didn't make the money I made last year.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Because I've always been good at mimicking. Really, really been so good at mimicking. So when I started my YouTube channel last year, in 1 week, I had made 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, wow.
I'd made 1,000 subscribers, and my videos were getting views. Yeah. Just go to my YouTube channel, Emeka UG. Yeah. Like, people were watching. That's when I got that brand ambassadorship deal. Making videos, making content for that company. And I was like, okay, let me use social media in the right way. I started posting, I started getting pics of me emceeing weddings way back, and I was like, guys, I'm a wedding MC, and I'm good at what I do. Hire me. So guys started one by one. When the president opened partially, the very first opening, I got my first 2 gigs. That was in June last year. I did 2 weddings in that month. And I nailed them. Then, weddings started coming. I got to a point, in August, I was booked throughout the whole month. September, all my Saturdays were booked. October, all my Saturdays were booked. November, now the peak season is September, October, November, December. The whole of October, I was booked.
Yeah.
November, I was booked. December, all my weekends were booked. I reached even a point when I was still doing an afternoon show at the other radio I was working for. I had to ask for a 1 week leave. There's a time in December I had a wedding to MC on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You get? So I must say COVID has affected me. To me, it has been good to me because I was like, okay, I sat down and re-strategized. I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to do this and this and this and that. And people were seated at home. I was like, people really need, and people need to be happy. You get, people were not working. Yeah. So that is when I started those videos. Then I got to be hosted on Masuzemutia, and it gave me like a bigger reach. Right now, YouTube is paying. I make money off YouTube. I can make because I got so busy when I got the job at Galaxy FM. I got kind of busy, and these other projects have been like they've put me back a little laid back from my channel. You get, so, but I can make like $200 a month. $200, $200, $150.
That is good. That is good. And we also like in the YouTube game, so we know how hard that actually is. Yeah.
You know how hard it is.
Yeah.
So that is how COVID really affected me. But now this second wave, I had weddings lined up. They said they don't want crowds. In June I was supposed to have 5 weddings. I ended up doing 3. You get, people have postponed their weddings. Yeah. So it has affected me in a good way, to a larger extent in a good way. Then in a negative way a little bit. I see. But I have like really no big complaints about.
And what about like the rest of the industry? What's your assessment? I know comedians who are, you guys are going to receive that 100K. Wafa, send it to me because podcasters don't know this.
What you will do, first go to your chairman and register. Maybe I'll send you a 10K for withdrawal charges. But right now, you see, when something happens, you need to be having a plan B. The comedy industry in Uganda has been affected. But if you're this kind of comedian who depends on stage for money, you're going to lose out. That is why comedians have started going into other, have started using other avenues to make money, like YouTube. The guys I never knew would actually start YouTube channels have started them. Going to content creation, you get. Going to writing. I have written ads for TV. I've written quite a number of ads for TV. The videos I make, I pitch ideas to companies. I'm like, hey, I shot this kind of video and I think it can work for you guys. You understand? So yeah, guys are not seated.
I see. Yeah, well, that's I think that's quite interesting. So what about you the person now? What is the motivation behind becoming a comedian? When I was a kid, for example, being a musician was your parent would be worried you're going to end up like Cafero. Like being a footballer, also your parent would be like, how many footballers you know. But a comedian, I'd imagine, like it didn't come to me then, but I would imagine if I told my parents, you know what, I want to make jokes for a living,
The motivation behind it. Yeah. Before my father died, he was really a funny man. And at home, when we were kids, we used to watch a lot of Charlie Chaplin. I really liked the way he did his things. Now, when I was growing up in primary school, I really liked watching Amarula Family. So I would watch these guys mimicking Ken Luchamuzi. Like they would always address issues in society. And we always sat on TV waiting for them. So I would see these guys mimicking Ken Luchamuzi. I would see them mimicking Matembe. I would see them mimicking the president. And I'm like, I think I can do this. So one time I got to school. I think it was as in primary 6. I mimicked Ken Luchamuzi and the class laughed. I was like, okay, I think I can do this. Then in high school, I used to watch a lot of Mike Check on NTV. I would watch the Salvadors, I would watch the Casimas, I would watch Pablo. I really loved their shows and I had a passion for it. Then, during talent shows in school, I would get the jokes they've performed on stage and perform them at school, and guys would laugh. They knew this joke belonged to this person, but they were brought it out. Then I started being original, writing jokes in school. You get things that are happening in school. Then I would mimic teachers, and guys would really laugh. And I always won talent shows at school. We had great dancers, we had great singers, but I'd come with my comedy and win. So I looked at them, I saw them traveling countries, and I was like, I think I want to be like these guys because I feel I can do it. Even after winning those talent shows at school, there's a zeal I had in me telling me that I think you can do this. You understand? So, the other motivation behind being a comedian is the fact that when I look at things going on, when I would see things going on in society, I would always make a lighter thing out of them.
Oh, I see. That's your way of coping, basically.
In school, at home, and that really motivated me so much. The fact that I want to be in a higher place, the fact that I wanted to be among the greats, because when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a person who is looked at as a great person, as a good person, as a person who is a master of their craft. You understand? I always wanted to be looked at as an extraordinary person. When I was in school, there was a competition on NTV called the Brainbusters. And in school, I was so active. Because when I was in school, I told myself, man, I want to grow up and be a public figure. I want to be looked at as a person who is impacting people's lives positively using his talent. So our teacher comes up, a literature teacher comes and tells us that, hey, we are going for Brainbusters. We need to pick 2 people. They're like, pick a person from A level, Form 5, and a person from Form 4 because they are intelligent. I was in Form 2. A teacher is like, no. I have a guy in Form 2 called Collins Emeka. There's another girl called Amina Amran. She's in Form 1. They can represent the school. The school administration was like, no, this is a competition. It's on TV. It's on national TV. How are you taking these 2 guys? Like, no, I trust them. We went to NTV, Brainbusters, and our school won. It was me and Amina. We won. You get?
Are you still in touch with Amina?
Man, Amina. was very beautiful by then. But she was beautiful by then. Right now, I think she's really more beautiful, but I don't know where she went. Munange, Amran, wherever you are, I am looking for you. I would have got a new picture, but I don't have your picture. We didn't take pictures in school. People even started saying that we were dating, and I was like, no, I can't date Amina. But man, when I got to Form 6 VAC, I was like, okay, this girl was beautiful. Amina, Amran, wherever you are, please. Yeah, but so represented the school twice, and we won. You understand? So that zeal for winning, me wanting to always be a winner, drove me. You get? It really drove me. Me wanting to travel the world, of which I have done and I'm still doing so, it drove me, I had it in me as like, I want to be that. So that gave me the motivation.
No, that's quite inspiring. One of the things we're trying to do because we are trying to rethink media, in a way that it's cheaper to produce content, it's scalable, but at the same point we are producing quality content, content that can compete globally. And one of the things we are trying to do, because if you look at the podcast space, apart from podcasts that are specific about topics, apart from say economics or politics or guns or whatever, most of the general form podcasts are run by comedians, right? Something went to my eye. If the most popular podcast is Joe Rogan's podcast, a comedian, and I've listened to again Dave Chappelle. I'll keep bringing him up because it's probably my favorite. Dave Chappelle started a paid for it's not free podcast, but it's really, really nice, right? And comedians are sort of, if you like American comedians, if you look at Bill Burr, for example, all of them are moving a significant amount towards podcast space. And because podcasts, you own your content, it's cheap to produce, that, like say Joe Rogan's show. Joe Rogan has about, say, 10 million viewers, per episode, an average of 10 million viewers per episode. But it's him and some guy, I think called Jimmy, and I think one person who manages, like a maximum 5 people team, right? And that's I think that approach, for example, here, where the cost of producing content becomes cheaper, it makes it easier for us, for example, to move this concept. We move this say a similar podcast and take it, say, to Moroto, where, say, two Kejongs can speak in Kejong about, Kejong issues and maybe make Kejong jokes for Kejong people, right? And, it's in a way that's affordable. But what we are trying to target also, because now it has been affected a little bit by the lockdown, but what we're trying to target was comedians, right? Setting up, especially the up and coming, we're not looking for people like you are making money, it will be too expensive for us. We are looking for, up and coming people we can also exploit small. Okay, not exploit, but people we can feel like
just say you want to exploit.
People we feel we can provide an opportunity for, right?
Giving a platform without paying.
Yeah, exactly. We'll pay, but no enough that we can manage to. But we're trying to get them a little bit to do something different, not like big conversations, but a podcast about just joking, maybe. I don't know how it works in comedy, but something they figure it out because they're comedians, right? And we are looking into that. So if you know people, because this is part of the reason we invite you.
Cool, no problem. There are many guys I know. They are really. By the way, Uganda has funny comedians. Uganda has very funny comedians. Be it the local comedians, be it the comedians that are doing English. They are really very funny comedians in Uganda. That I can tell you. So when I get them for you, trust me, you get to like them.
We are still also like in very early stages of thinking about the idea and how we want to execute it. But definitely the biggest form of it will be people performing jokes and making content that makes other people laugh and us trying to move that content forward and things like that.
As long as when it gains momentum, you pay them because man.
I thought you're advocating for them. I thought you're advocating for yourself.
No, I'm advocating for them. I'm advocating for them.
Obviously. We know this for fact that, and the reason we started this also is, if you look at the mainstream media, right? There is not enough. They don't have enough time to give everyone a platform to express themselves, right? And the difference between that and now what we do with podcasting is, you don't have to be so popular. If you look at sort of our guest list, I think you'll be among some of the top popular people we've invited. We've had some really popular people, but those have been few. Most of the people we bring on are people hustling, people who want that chance to tell people, this is what I do, give me a little bit of attention, and this could be them. And we think that our platform is the best. And so, we hope that when people break through, they remember that we gave them the.
Yeah, it's actually a great initiative. But the thing with Uganda is, I'll say this without fear. In Uganda, I hope you guys never get there. But in Uganda, let's say a person has come up with content and they're pitching it up to a TV or some other platform. These people will not want to pay you your worth. Unlike Kenya, a person will come up with content, really good content, let's say for TV. Take it to TV. And these guys pay them money. I'll give an example of Churchill. Churchill is paid a lot of money per episode. A lot of money. He's paid, I think per episode, he's paid, is it 300,000 Kenya shillings? That's a lot of money. Like a lot of money. With Uganda, I just wish here in Uganda we adopt that same thing. When a person gives you a platform, it's like they've helped you. There are some Ugandan platforms. When they give you a platform, it's like they are helping you. It's like they are giving you a favor, not because you're worthy. You understand?
True.
And that is where they get it wrong. That is why countries like Kenya are beating us. Countries like South Africa are beating us. Countries like Nigeria are beating us. The government has not done anything to support art in Uganda.
I see. No, but that's true. It's not even the government. If you look at, for example, NTV or NBS, right? Most of their daytime, the weekday, most of that time is playing music, right? Because they just don't have the content to fit within that time, right? And that is majorly because they just don't want to invest in buying people's content or content that's actually not very conventional TV content, content that they are not programming and producing. And that is a problem. For our this podcast, this Become, we've been, the guys who have actually approached us to make deals are mostly, for example, Azam, the guys who have like that digital thing, but none of these local guys. And it's us like trying to find, where we find NTV.
But you see, I want to commend Multichoice. Multichoice. You guys had Colin Asiimwe.
Yeah, we did.
Man, we are kind of related.
Okay.
Every time I sit and talk with Colin Asiimwe, man, I really see that passion.
But he has a powerful presence.
Yeah? He has a powerful presence. There's a passion he has for Ugandan content. You understand? Colin Asiimwe is a person who will tell you, go write down a concept, write this down, bring it to me, I will pitch it up for you. You understand? I wish Uganda had like 10 Colin Asiimwes.
I see.
You get? He is in a position that can really lift Ugandan content. And I'm so happy that Pearl Magic is doing that. Come up with your good content, they'll take it up. Unlike other platforms. Other platforms will toss you around. If they give you space, they'll give you little money. You get?
Usually, actually, will pay. They give you space, then you pay the guy
then
who will
pay,
connect you.
You pay that guy who has connected. You understand?
Advertiser.
You get? But the thing Multichoice is doing, Multichoice Uganda, they are promoting local content. That is one good thing I like about them. And I'm so proud to be working with them.
No, but I know Azam also is doing the same. So right now Azam, I think, is because it doesn't have the kind of, it's not as popular as Multichoice. But most of the guys who have reached out to me, they've been, I know a guy called Isaac Walls who I've been like talking with. And, he's trying to, he tries to explain to you why it's important that my content is on that TV, for example, and in a way that the kind of special attention you don't think you'd get from like the kind that platform.
And I just hope in a few years to come, Ugandans adopt to this kind of content. You understand? Because man, guys are doing content out there that you look at. There's content you look at on YouTube, not like big conversations. You look at this kind of content. You look at the content that is on some TVs. Touch your head and That is why I do not blame Ugandans who say that I do not watch local TVs.
I'm one of those people. I really don't. I go on to when I hear Tibbs has said therefore. That's
Yeah,
when
therefore,
I
that's because man, we need to give a chance to guys that are really doing good content. Let me give you an example of Uncle Mo.
Yeah.
Do you know Uncle Mo is a stand-up comedian? Do you know Uncle Mo has done comedy on stage before? Man, that fool. That's why.
I did it.
Uncle Mo comes one time to La Bonita to perform with us. I had seen him before at National Theatre. He was doing Ugandan movies. So this fool comes. He had a great show. I'm sorry for calling him a fool. That's what.
Yeah,
we call
no,
each
it's
other.
fine. It's
what we
fine.
call
It's
each
fine.
other.
You'll understand. We
Yeah.
want him to come by that way.
Hey.
Uncle Mo, come to our podcast and we talk. Yeah.
So Uncle Mo comes. Uncle Mo had a great show. You know, he performed Comedy Central style. Came with a face towel and a stool, put it there, and a glass. I don't know. Was it a bottle of water? Man, the jokes he was doing, the style he was doing is the same style he's doing his videos. He was addressing social issues, political issues. He had a great show. And this was a typical Uganda audience. Like they say, Yabakuba Kavulu. After that show, that fool has never come back on stage. Every time I meet him, I'm like, wait, what happened? You come back on stage, you get. But I'm glad his YouTube is actually working out so well. You understand?
It is, yeah.
So the kind of content he does is the kind of content that we're supposed to be seeing on TV. You understand?
Exactly, yeah.
Only that when you pitch it to people, man, they don't want to pay you what. That's why Ugandans say, I would rather remain on YouTube and make money off YouTube than go to a TV that is going to exploit me.
No, I totally get that. But that's just for me. I feel like these guys are just stupid in a way.
For example,
No, that like the TV guys. Honestly, if you see, for example, Uncle Mo's content, and I've seen, I forget what the name is, but I've seen another kid trying to copy. Which when you start seeing people like copying your style, you're doing a great style. I don't know. I forget the name. I'm very bad with names. But I saw, I think, one skit of his, and I was like, wow, this is like very Uncle Mo-ish.
It's not always good to copy. It's not always good. But okay, you can have the same style. If a person comes up with a style, anyone can do that style. You get?
Yeah.
But do not do what he is doing.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he's not.
Do not go under the car.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, he's not. No. So he's not doing. It's sort of the performance.
Oh.
It feels Uncle Mo-ish, which is for me. I think it's sort of like a flattery to Uncle Mo, knowing that your style.
You're inspiring.
Yeah,
people.
exactly.
You're
Inspiration.
Yeah, just like some time I met Rudende. I'd gone to Next Media. I'd gone to see my sister who works there. So Rudende bumps into us, and man, the words he told me. Like, if these words are coming from a legend in the radio industry, I was so honored and humbled. You get? He told me, he looked at me, he's like, man, Emeka, you're doing great. He told me if he is to rate, if he's to say that radio is in good hands with the new generation presenters, he listed 3 names.
Oh, I see. Wow.
And I was so happy to be among those names. He's like, he spoke of John Corey, who works with Power FM. He spoke of Timothy Code, who works with Sanyu, and he's like, then there is you.
Nice.
Galaxy.
Yeah,
he's like, I look at you guys and I'm like, okay, radio is in good hands.
There's some future here.
You get?
Yeah.
So, if a person like that comes out and tells you such inspiring words, trust me, you will always be inspired to do better. Now, if a kid if someone else is doing, let's say, the style of Uncle Mo, trust me, Uncle Mo will be happy because
I agree. I think when you watch it, I forget what the guy is. I would have mentioned him, but Josh, maybe. I saw one clip. I was like, wow, this is very Uncle Mo. It's for me. I feel like it's flattering. It's the same thing when we see like most of the guys whose podcast we work for. The guy comes to our podcast and they're like, you know what? If you guys can produce for me, I'm willing to do the thing you're doing because we feel like
we need coordination in the industry. We need coordination in the industry.
Yeah. So, Mr. Emeka, the romantic Mukiga, as we conclude, tell me, what is that legacy thing that Emeka wants to leave on this earth here? What is going to be your legacy 100 years from now?
100 years from now, I want the name Emeka, the romantic Mukiga, to be remembered as a person who was all about positive vibes.
Yes, sir.
A person who brought positivity.
But people don't remember positive vibes. People remember the warlords.
The warlords. Now, if there are people that do not remember positive vibes, there are people that will remember.
I see. Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
I always feel so happy because I never knew that it would actually happen. Man, I feel so happy when guys come into my DM and they tell me, man, you're my mentor, like you inspire me a lot. Guys tell me, I watch your YouTube and I'm so inspired. Guys tell me, I listen to you on radio and I'm so inspired. I want to be remembered as a person who inspired the next generation. That is why I also want to be remembered as a person who helped others come up. That is why whenever upcoming artists come to me, they're like, hey, I want my song to play on radio, I want this and this. I work so hard to see that they get the airplay. You get? Yeah. If a person comes to me and tells me, Emeka, I have a person I want you guys to prank on radio because I'm so good at pranks. The way we change, the way I change voices and what. Like if a person comes to me and tells me, hey, I want you to prank for me this person on their birthday, I always see to it that I do it. You get? If a person comes to me and tells me, hey, Emeka, I want to do this and this, please help me. I tell them, hey, I might not be able to help you, but I know someone that can help you. I've done that for people. So every time people come and tell me that, Emeka, you inspire me. That is enough for me. That's the kind of legacy I want to leave. Every time people sit down and the name Emeka pops up, like there's a way it warms my heart. You understand? So I want to be remembered as a person who inspired people, a person who helped people, a person who contributed to the growth of someone's career.
Oh, I see.
That is the kind of legacy I want to leave.
I see. No, that's very interesting. And again, thank you very much for accepting our invite. This has been also a very interesting conversation for me personally. And we are glad that you came. Thank you.
Yeah, but one last thing, man, avoid violence.
Violence is inevitable. Some people need to fight.
But there are people, man, you know there are people that, there are people that are catalysts.
Yeah, no, obviously, but that's why they're in school as well. That's why they're in school. Those guys never used to fight. They're the guys who make sure they set you up to fight.
Sotri backs. Kera. Lobster. Mugi.
Those are the catalysts.
Man, TL has catalysts of violence. Like, oh, man.
But those guys in school were there. Those guys who just set you up to fight.
Now, I'll tell you a story. When I was in school, I used not to fight. I hated fighting. This one time, I fought. I've only fought on 2 occasions in school. The first occasion was in P6 when I was the assistant head boy. There was this girl. She had dreads. She was a Sudanese, but you know these people that, let's say, I think they're from North Sudan. No, actually not Sudan. People from Sudan, Khartoum.
Absolutely.
They're like light skin and what. So this girl, she had dreads, and I had told her, please, because they had told me, go and tell guys to sweep the classes. So I told her, hey, can you please sweep the class since it's your turn to sweep?
Is this the story where I got beat up by a girl? Yeah, please.
So, I'm like, hey, sweep, carry the rubbish, and take it out. You see, when you're young, you always want to be bossy, mostly when you're in a higher position. Not like me, I'm the assistant head boy.
Yeah, true.
So this girl was stubborn. She refused. She refused to take out the rubbish. I got pissed. I'm like, wait, Lake Dube, take out the rubbish because of that dreads. She's like, say it one more time and I'll teach you a lesson. And guys are like, So the boys do like, hey. So they're like, make her say it now. This one does not scare you. Are you scared? I kept quiet. Now, every time I remember that story, I remember the way Mugi, Sotri Bags, Kera, like the way they add fire. They're like, nah, why? You're not Monday. Nah, if you go. Now, out of fear of losing, I'm like, Lake Dube. She came at me. Now, what made me be beaten? This girl was taller and bigger than me. She slapped me twice and kicked me in the stomach, and I fell down. When I stood up, because there's a way we would lie to ourselves that, we are doing karate, So I brought out those monkey styles of karate, blah, blah, blah. She gave me a slap, and I went down. So what helped me when I stood up, she had a weak point. So I just tickled her neck. So she did this and she went down. You understand? That is how I won the fight. So these guys are like, wow, we want more. You know those catalysts of violence.
Those are always there.
They're always there. Yeah.
No,
but violence is not good. I don't advocate for violence. I'm for peace.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing. We had what's his name? Biwol. We had Biwol. Yeah, we had Biwol, and Biwol was saying, most of the reasons people were violent.
Yeah.
Most of the time they'll get the cheap attention, they'll get the followers because they're violent.
Yeah.
But it's still the same reason that those followers will leave, because at some point they'll be fed up with
And
shit.
let me tell you, violence is not sustainable. You're going to wake up today, you attack Emeka, you abuse him, you abuse his suits, you abuse the way he's not funny, you abuse him in all those ways. You'll get the likes and and retweets and followers. After violence, what next?
Yeah, exactly. That's
what are you bringing to the table?
And you've already killed that connection.
You've
Emeka is not one of the people you'll go to.
You understand?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'll make a confession. There are guys who have always abused me on TL. One thing about violent people, there's a way the keyboard gives people confidence.
Obviously,
you get
your home.
When you meet them in person, they're like the shyest people. They might not be shy, but they'll be afraid of talking to you. There are people that have abused me on TL, and we've bumped into each other. Either I'm the one who is going to help them go through some people. Mm-hmm. I'm the one who is going to do something that is going to help them push them forward. You understand? I have seen CEOs being dragged on Twitter. And the people that are dragging them are the same people that have come to their companies looking for jobs.
I've seen that, yeah.
Like they've met them and they're like, wait, you are the one. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah. And in good faith, the CEOs employ them. You get? They'll show you that whatever you're doing is not right. So whoever is being violent on Twitter, you're abusing people, you do not know where you're going to meet this person. You're going to meet this person, and they are the person, and they are the people that are going to help employ you. Yeah. They're going to help you go through some doors you would not have gone through by yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Generally, networking positively is much better than sort of causing those mild conflicts of attention. Yes. Yeah, that's extremely
and I think at times it's always better to like put your phone down and rest from Twitter. There's a time Biwol. One thing I like about Biwol is the time Biwol was being attacked. He was being attacked, and I felt like okay, he had to throw back fire. But he told me, man, it's not worth it. You get? Then there's a routine he came up with. He said, I think he said after 9 p.m.
Yeah.
He's not on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying so hard to follow that because I need to sleep early. The problem is I have a stress reliever. I watch Family Guy. Nice. Like every time I watch Family Guy, like I laugh my lungs out and you get that feel relieved. So I'm trying to adopt this thing of I get offline. I get off Twitter like at around 9 p.m. I watch Family Guy. If there is football, I watch football and sleep. Because, man, you need to refresh your mind. Yeah, you need time off Twitter. Emma, that place is toxic.
Yeah, true. And also sleeping itself makes most of the people who so if you don't do enough exercises, you don't sleep well. That's also one thing. Yeah. So most of the people who get easily agitated or who get triggered or who even like those things, people who go and see this guy is being unnecessarily violent, but then they like or they exaggerate, it's again expressing their own agitation within themselves. But sleeping alone, there's a good book called Why We Sleep, which sort of also in the end it recommends like what would be a good remedy for having enough sleep, but it sort of lays down arguments on why sleep helps your brain also calm down and become just a more happy person generally.
Yeah. So basically that's it.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thanks for hosting me.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming. I've enjoyed this very much.
I've also had a lot of fun.
Yeah, this has been quite good.
Yeah, I hope to do it some other time.
Yeah, definitely. We'll call you back. We are going to set it up since you one was brought it up. I'm going to set up another one where you come and first tell us some of those stories of what fighting. Those are the ones we want. Those are the ones we want mostly. Those are the ones we want mostly.
When you invite me back, I'll tell you of a story of a time I was at the airport and I met this OG who the school thought was never beautiful. Man, she was hot. That's a story for another day. You be there abusing people, but you are not beautiful.
Yeah, that's true. So I know many. For me, I know many. My own audience who are like.
Another thing, you look at people and you just it's not good to really underlook people. It's not good. Like I've said, violence is not good. It's not good to underlook people. When we were going to Zambia for the international festival, we met a lady with her child. I was with a group of fellow comedians. So we were at Entebbe, and we are waiting for our flight. And guess what? We meet this lady. We are almost getting into the queue, but she is standing alone with her baby and another like 6-year-old child. And we're like, hey, so madam, on which flight are you? Because for us, we are using Rwanda. And she's like, no, we are not on any flight. We are just waiting for our pilot. We are using a private jet. I took 5 steps behind. I went into the queue, and I'm like, let's make money. Thanks for hosting me.
Thank you very much.